And so everyone, welcome to the Mastermind Book Club. Today, we are going over a book that was recommended by Gina. And this book is, I don't know about you, but for me, it's like, whoa. I listened to it pretty much twice this week. One very slow and the other one at a faster pace. I don't know how I make the time, but I make the time. There's nothing more like knowledge in reference to power. So before I address this book, I want to ask you one question here. This book is called The Impersonal Life. However, I dare to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you're against what I'm going to say, this craziness, but I believe that the name of this book is The I Am Personal Life. I am.
I am.
In other words, okay, this person, Joseph Benner, came from an era where Napoleon Hill came from, Carnegie, right? Dale Carnegie, sorry, not Carnegie Hill. And who was the other author that we read? I don't remember what the other author. So they were afraid to publish these views because they were afraid of being criticized heavily by religious dogma or doctrine or whatever it was. And I agree with it. So the impersonal life to me is the I am personal. I am. Do you agree? Do you not agree?
I agree with you.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to go over these few things. There's something very powerful in this book, and I'm going to explain to you at the end because I like to keep these very simple. And how the bottom line is, what can I take out of this book that can benefit me in my path to success, to riches, to abundance, to prosperity, to health, to freedom, or whatever it may be. That's the bottom line, right? In chapter 1, Joseph Benner talks about, does anyone know?
Genesis, the beginning of the create the ideas. We had the ideas to create.
So he basically goes, yes, correct.
The life in the world.
Correct, Martha. He basically goes into how God created the world and how God works through us and how the world was created in a way that it should benefit us, whether you're doing right or you are doing wrong. Mm-hmm. Or incorrect, because some people, you can't just look at this one way. There's no one way to look at everything. There's more than one way. So chapter 2 is where I want to jump into. Be still.
Be still.
So the reason I got the I am personal life is because in chapter 2, he goes into the I am.
I am, yes.
And the first thing that he asks, or the biggest question he asks, what is consciousness and how can it help us? Consciousness is the ability for us to create whatever we want in life. Either we just become comfortable with it, or we try and develop some reality out of our possibility of being still. What does being still mean? Well, I want to go into this in a few different ways. First of all, the word. To express consciousness of the mind, you need to have the right words, right?
Right.
So who can you identify who is very successful and uses words? So I'm not asking for your specific, maybe you have an answer or not, but who? So number 1, authors. Number 2, people who create music. Number 3, movie producers. Number 4, anyone in communication industry. Should I keep going?
Mm.
These people use the word regularly. Regularly. How is it that they've become so successful? In the word, you'll find the will, you will find sin, you will find power, you will find love, and you will find many other things.
Happiness.
But happiness, yes. No, you'll find whatever it is you're looking for, you will find. However, the reality is that most of us in general, don't use the word. We don't use it to our benefit. We just use it to the moment's circumstance. We forget about having it in a way that that benefits our own being instead of just thinking about benefiting someone else. Who is the master? He asks. So this is where that correlation comes in. Are we masters of our words, or are words masters of us? Right?
We're master of us.
So
I believe in that.
As some of you who are members here with me, we belong to the $100 million run. We know we were asked to create our own business plan. And a business plan should address directly or indirectly who is master. What do we need to accomplish with all that we have in front of us? And what we have in front of us is actually within us. Right? The science of getting rich tells us there's this thinking stuff from which all things are made that permeates, penetrates, and fills what? Fills our destiny. Have you analyzed your mind? Have you analyzed your mind? When was the last time you asked yourself, body, how am I doing? Is there something wrong inside? Is there something I need to address? Am I going to the bathroom properly? Am I sleeping properly? Am I assisting others? Am I taking care of myself? Am I eating the right foods? Am I making enough money? Am I happy? When was the last time you asked yourself any of these questions? We need to analyze ourselves. We need to be able to take that time out to come up with that idea which will make us super successful. When was the last time you stopped from doing whatever it is you're doing? When was the last time? For most of us, we don't stop. I don't stop. And when Gina recommended us a 1-minute meditation, I did it for a few days and I stopped. Our human mind doesn't like us to stop. So how many of you like to multitask? Me. We all like to multitask. If you have not noticed, that's where we lose concentration. If you're working on a deal that is a moneymaker, you cannot multitask on that deal. Maybe I should repeat that. I don't know if people caught on, but if you are working on a possible multi-million-dollar project, you cannot multitask through it. And that is something that even I need to implement more and more. Because I was multitasking and I stopped doing what I was doing. Because I realized that when you do more than one thing, then you're not really doing anything. Are you aware that you're able to do this. Now, Joseph Brenner says, as if it were God speaking, that even the forbidden fruit God allowed us to eat from. Do you understand that? Why? Because if he did not want Adam and Eve to eat from it, he could have zapped them right there. He could have terminated their lives. He could have done many other things. And now I know it's an example. I don't know how many believe in that or not. I'm just bringing this up as an example. Maybe in other religions, I know that there are similar stories that correlate in a similar fashion. But the correlation here is everything that is on this earth was made for more than one reason.
Mm-hmm.
So God has allowed us to sin, because from sin, we learn. From sin, we repent. From sin, we grow. From failures, we grow. From agonizing, we grow. From defeat. Joseph Brenner explains this. And by the way, I should mention that the person who translates, who reads this book, man, you couldn't have picked a better person. That person who owns a bookstore, I forgot his name. He says it at the beginning, but this is powerful. Now, are you dreaming? There's two types of dreams. There's the one that you're fully awake, and there's the one that you're fully sleeping. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Every day and every night, I put in the last things in my mind is what I want out of this world, what I want out of life. Now, I don't have it yet, but there are many people telling me, man, you are X, you are X. And it's like, wow, I know I am. I know I am. So I never say, I don't doubt it. It's like, great. I'm glad people are noticing because I'm getting there. Do you understand what I'm trying to say in this? Is that whatever you want, you have to attract it. And when you attract it, don't deny it. Embrace it. The conditions of your dreams are that you have to realize as if you were living them now. That you have to bring them down on paper, that you have to remind yourself daily. Otherwise, who is in charge? Who's the authority in all of this? Is it your dreams or is it you?
You.
I. Right? I. Remember, in the authority, who has the power? Who is the self? Who shows righteousness? And who possesses the money? In your dreams can possess the money, or you can extract it out of your dreams. Now, this is the most important thing that I got out of this book. This is the most important thing I got out of this book. I know anyone could have gotten anything out of this book, but as I mentioned earlier, who relies on vision creating? I want to take that a little bit deeper. Now, I don't know how many of you know of this artist called 6ix9ine, who's gotten a lot of media attention, a lot. He has broken records constantly. He just did a video and within 24 hours had at least 45 million views.
Mm-hmm.
He and another artist, a female artist. And I watched the video. My sons had me stay up till midnight to watch the video. So I asked myself, as I was reading this book, because this happened, I think it was Saturday night or Friday night, one of the two. I asked myself, why is 6ix9ine so successful? Someone who's gone to jail, someone who ratted out his friends, someone who is disloyal as a friend. Now, I don't know all the logistics behind it. So I asked myself, why is he successful? Why am I not? This book explains why he's successful. It explains it. Are you aware of that? This book explains why he's successful. What does he do? He writes music. But that's not the successful part of it. The successful part of it is that he takes the time to be by himself, to think about what he wants. He puts it in paper, and then he applies it. What do you think Bill Gates did? Bill Gates took the time to learn a craft in solitude or with a group. He barely slept. He even slept at his computer table until he became successful. Is this the price we have to pay? You know, I try and sleep 6 hours a night. Sometimes I get more, sometimes I get less. But that's my average, 6 hours. I don't know what your average is. But all I can tell you is I feel excited waking up. I feel really excited. I'm not a millionaire yet, but I'm on the way getting there. On average, by 11 in the morning, I make anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 returns from my investments. I have losses. Yes, I have some losses. I mean, that's reality. You're not gonna just get, you don't have a straight arrow to where you're gonna make some money. But the reality is, how are you visualizing your goals by meditation, by writing them down, by taking the time out to be in silence? It's not working hard. It's hardly working if you don't take the time out. I don't take the time out. I am going to. As of tomorrow on, I'm going to. I've already started it, but as a figure of speech, as of tomorrow onward, I am going to. Take 10 minutes out of your day. Meditate. Have a paragraph of whatever it is you want to do. I ask people to write what their plans are 10 years from now and to read it back to themselves on a daily basis. What do you want? Are you doing that? Are you applying it? The big question here is, who is in charge? Are your dreams in charge? Meaning, do you just dream and just think about, what could this mean? I wonder what it means, and just walk away? Or do you bring your dreams to life? Do you bring your dreams to life? The dreams that we need to be bringing to life are those realities that we can create and we can assimilate. This book doesn't tell us, it does tell us, you don't have to be a yoga expert. You don't have to be some guru. You don't have to be some, you don't have to pay for an expensive course. It says it specifically. You do not have to pay for an expensive course to become a yoga expert, to become someone who meditates on a higher level. No, do it at your level. If you want to be successful, you have to meditate And we have someone on this line who knows about meditation. I don't know how many other people, but I know that Gina is, since I've met her, I've thought of her as my go-to person for meditations. And the reality is that we can meditate on whatever level we are. But not only that, Joseph Brenner tells us, and this is what he was afraid of, that religion is not just outside, it is within us. That God is within us. We are God. And that's why the I am personal life means that when Jesus went around in his time saying that I am, that he is the great one, which there's a song, I know it's in Spanish and I know it's in English, I just don't remember the English part of it, but it exists for the great leaders of every religion. The I am exists within us. God exists within us. We just have probably not chosen to meditate. Meditation can be done on many levels. Many levels. But you've got to sit down, start writing whatever it is you want, or just meditate on the reality you've created. Take out 5-10 minutes. I was multitasking every day. My vision for 10 years from now, I'm not going to do that anymore. I've got to take out 10 minutes. Have to take out 10 minutes. Very important. You should have an hour of power every day and break it down however you want. Let's say 20 minutes or 30 minutes to read, for example, or listen to a book, 10 minutes to meditate, 3 minutes to be grateful, or 10 minutes to be grateful, and then another 10 minutes for whatever you want. Exercise, let's say. At least you've got to have an hour of power. And multitasking does not allow you to have an hour of power. So this is my review for this book today. This book was recommended by Gina, and I wanted to give her a chance first to say what or anything that she might want to say. I want to pick 2 or 3 people. Gina, are you able to speak, or are you?
Yes, David.
So
I can speak.
So number one, I just want to thank you for being with us, because for me, you're my go-to person on meditation. Every time I think about meditation, I have you and your sister in mind. So it's
Oh, that's
that
awesome.
that is something that no one can take away. So I want to thank you for that. And I want to know, what do you think of this book? Because this is not the first time you've read it either, right?
Yeah, thank you, David, and I really appreciate you too, and all the other, all the rest of you who are on this call. My impression of this book when I first heard it a few weeks ago, I was listening to it while I was walking in the park. I go out there walking and running sometimes, and I decided to walk and listen to it slowly. And upon hearing the first chapter of this book, I could not stop smiling. It made my soul so happy, and listening. So it's like I walk and I just ignore everything that was around me for the most part, and I just kept listening to it. I even found a place where I went and sat down on a pontoon in a bridge by a lake, and I listened.
Wow.
And it just, like, everything just lit up inside of me when I read a lot of these books before. And the author talked about Elvis Presley, I think, at the beginning of this.
Correct.
How he carried this around with him and gave it to his friends, and they even found it when he was dead, right?
Yes.
It was like on his deathbed with him. And I think Dr. Wayne Dyer as well. In another episode, he mentioned that was one of the books that inspired him. But it's like, it just made me feel the happiness come from, like, we are right where we're supposed to be. There's no judgment. We might fall off the path, so to speak, if there is such a thing, but our lesson will be learned and we will reach where we need to get. Okay. And the whole idea is that this is what I gather from it. We all come at different levels. Okay. And we can't judge one another as to, whatever level we think that that person is at. And in the whole idea of this, I believe, is to the word where it says, "Be still and know that I am God."
God, yes.
And he said to ponder those words, spend some time with them until they fill us up, until we understand what those words actually mean, and that it might not come today, it might not come tomorrow, it might not come next week, or it might, okay? But it will come as long as we just ponder that. We take some time out to be still, quiet that monkey mind that always have that chatter going on in the background. It's constant,
Right.
So quiet it, take an hour off each day and tap into that. And there was another verse I think that he brings up, I think comes from the Beatitudes. And I can't, I hear my kids in the background, sorry. I'm going to go into another room. And I got it actually written down somewhere. If you give me just a second, I'm not going to be too long. I'm going to mention it. The one said, "Seek first the kingdom of God," okay? And all the things that we need will be added unto us, okay? That's in Matthew. And so all of these things I understand connect so much, with the Bible, and that the Bible is supposed to be like a dynamic, word, if you word of God, but it's dynamic. It's something that's we're living today, not a historical book that we use it for. And so, it's like we need to look at these verses and understand more of their meaning, rather than, people just preaching them out to us and saying, a certain man did this and a certain person did that. These things apply to us directly right now, right where we are,
Yeah.
And so if we start to listen more, some of these topics that they're talking about, then we get to see those verses being alive.
That's correct. Thank you, Gina. And
this book, and one other thing I wanted to mention before, I know I've been long-winded already, and I apologize for that.
Nope.
But how we're always hearing somebody approaching us, "Oh, you should get into this. No, you should do this. No, you should do the other." And we're running here and there and everywhere, trying to say, okay, maybe I need to do this, maybe I need to do that. I realize I don't need to do any of that. What I need to do is tap into the divine. I want to get into the mind of God, and that lies right within us all,
Yes.
And so once we do that, we'll be so sure. Nobody needs to tell us what to do. We know what to do already,
Thank you.
That's what excites me the most. It just excites me, so I listen to it as many times as I have to.
and Gina, you are correct. We have it all wrong. We need to look inside to become millionaires. I mean, all these people are coming out who are coaching, who are life coaches, who are wellness coaches, and all of that. The bottom line, they're all pointing us to look inside.
Yes, indeed.
If they're really good, they guide us in pointing inside. If they're not really good, then they'll just keep us on, a wild goose chase. But if you look at this 6ix9ine, Bill Gates, anyone who's famous, somehow they dedicated time to meditation, and that's how they came about. Meditation could be just getting away from everybody. So not everybody calls it meditation.
Yes, just quiet the mind.
And you have to quiet the mind. You have to stay shut so that the loudest voice can be heard. That's what the Bible says. In silence, you will hear the loudest voice. Sometimes as I trade, and I'm sorry if you don't like me to use these examples, but that's what I do. As I trade, I hear a voice that's telling me, you got to get out. And I get out of a position. And sure enough, boom, it goes the way that I don't want it to go. There's a position right now that we all take, whatever it is. Are we listening to this inner voice? Just before this all happened, this craziness, I don't know, back in February, I went to look for a parking. I told myself, you know, where can I find parking? And I started to listen. And my brain told me, just turn right. You're going to find parking on that block. And it was right there. I found parking. But so if I can do that on an example of a small thing, then can you imagine if I started to concentrate on the bigger things? So for each of you, whatever it is that you want in your business or in your life, professionally, spiritually, whatever it may be, just take the time out to ask. You know, when people come to me and ask me about relationships, so most people, you know, I mean, like you know, a boyfriend, girlfriend, or a husband or a wife relationship,
Partner.
Yes, partner, you're right, gender correct. So when people ask me about that, you know, I have a few steps before I ask this question. And once I get to that point, I ask them, you know, you've got to ask yourself one very important question. If you knew that in 90 days you were going to meet your partner, what would you do now to prepare? Most people don't ask themselves that. I didn't ask myself that. I was at a point when I was looking for my wife, I was just very stressed. I was very depressed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't even bother to research. That's what most of us happen, that we don't research, we don't ask, we don't take the time out to look within. Right? So
Yes.
the reality is that, as Gina explained it right now, you can do whatever you want with this book. You can do whatever you want with any of these books. But if you're not taking something away to adding to your own life, then, I mean, these books are worthless. Worthless. This class is worthless unless you're growing. I want you to grow. We need you to grow. Because if you're growing, let's say in 3 years' time, you all become successful, guess what? Chances are that we will be each other's friends, millionaire friends, if we all become successful, just because we're in a mastermind.
And that's when we become successful.
We are successful. We are successful.
Better yet.
We are successful.
Better yet.
We just haven't taken the time out to meditate on how to acquire the plans to achieving our success that is already there.
Right.
Okay.
David.
Yes.
May I say one last thing?
Go ahead.
On Saturday, my daughter and I went out, you know, we did a little celebration from one of my daughter, and then the other one, we went out looking for a student desk for her. She wanted a student desk. And so we stopped at a few stores, and we were unsuccessful in finding one that she wanted. And Sunday morning, my phone rang. I had it on silent. And first I was like, I'm not going to answer that, you know, because it's Sunday morning. But anyway, it kept ringing, and then I picked it up, and it was another friend. And he said, hey, I'm getting ready to get rid of a student desk. Do you want one? He said, I just put one out on the curb.
Can you believe
somebody
it?
was eyeing it. He said, would you like to have a student desk? I'm like, what? Anyway, we went and picked it up. Make a long story short.
So,
but I was telling my daughter, isn't that amazing how we do that sometimes, and people just call out of the blue. But I never told him anything. I haven't seen him in months.
wow.
Anyway,
Wow.
I just wanted to share that, you know,
That
something
is,
just materializing so quickly.
the reality is just as Gina explained it, is we have to attract what we want. With my daughter, you just told me something there that I have known, but I've been doing it on my own. And there's 4 of us who do the therapies. And from now on, I'm going to tell my family members and that we have to concentrate on healing our daughter with our minds as we're doing what we're doing. And I've been doing it on my own, as you know, and keeping it to myself. But we've got to work as a team.
And your mastermind friends here.
You can do it on your own, However, it is more powerful with a team.
Yes.
And I tell my daughter pretty much every night, you're going to walk someday, but we've got to do these things. You're going to walk. You're going to talk. You're going to be free of convulsions.
Mm-hmm.
And she's starting to do things that, she's lifting her head. Most kids with cerebral palsy, they can't even lift their head. And she's lifting her head just like a baby. She's 7. Mm-hmm. She should have been doing this when she was 2 to 4 months. But
Mm-hmm.
hey, I'm glad she's doing it because that's progress.
Amen.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone know about cerebral palsy or any of those brain injuries? Talk to me. I'm an expert. I'm a crazy guy, man. I'm just like a clown juggling all these expertise. But the reality is that's how we help each other out. Today, we're searching for the plans to become millionaires. Tomorrow, we'll be laughing together as we were having these meetings, trying to assist each other in getting there.
Right.
And that's the reality. So thank you, Gina, for sharing that, because if you don't attract it, you're not going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to hear from some of the guys today, if possible, either Floyd, Charles, or Reggie. And not putting the women down, but most of the time the guys are pretty quiet. But if they're quiet, then I'll ask the women. Going once, going twice. All right, then how about the women, Ariane, Sharon, or Martha? Anything from this book that
I can say something.
Martha, yes.
I want to say thank you, Dina, for the book. I want to say what I feel when I was listening to the audiobook. I was feeling the God was talking to me.
Mm.
Wow.
It was crazy. And I can't believe it. And I say, God's talking to me. God's telling me what to do to be my dreams, my happiness, change my life, to keep it healthy, to keep it in shape. He was talking to me in the video.
Wow.
And I can't believe it. I say, oh my God, this is crazy. And,
wow.
And a lot of the book, it says a lot of things about the Bible. And usually I don't read the Bible. And when I start reading, when I listen to the book, I got the Bible, and I start reading the Bible. And a lot of things that he says in the audio is in the Bible. And I say, my God, this is crazy. I can't believe it. So I believe, and I want to say thank you to David. I started this master book club in March 30, I remember exactly. And I feel for this day into now, I feel different. I feel my mind is different. I feel like I'm spiritual growing, and I have the emotion, I have the motivation to do something with my life. And this is mean a lot to me, because when we're a mother, we concentrate in the family. And we know we leave behind, we're always the last one as a mother. And now I say to myself, no, now I have to grow up what I want to do. I don't want to, I still be a mother, but we thinking more about myself. I'm selfish with myself, thinking for others before me. Now I had to do the opposite. And I feel like growing up with your book, with all this meeting and the books, and I get very excited. And I can't wait to see the meeting. I can't wait to see another book. And it's like something like coming back to college and enjoy to go to class and learn. It's something like that. And thank you very much, and I appreciate that. That's what I had to say.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Martha. I really appreciate that as well, because being excited to be part of a Mastermind book club is powerful, as she just stated. Thank you. Thank you, Martha. Anyone else want to comment on this book? going once, going twice. So this is what I want to tell you. Is it a crazy idea to take one day this week and meditate and do it for, I don't know, for 4 weeks in a row, at least one day a week? However, mind you, if you do it every day, man, you might get so powerful. I don't know, but one day a week, 10 minutes, an hour. Let me know. Can you do it? Are you committed? Meditating is where our treasure chest lies. Meditation is in different formats. So it depends on what it is. So let's say you want to build a business. You've got to sit down on your own, write down all the details. I know it's work. All the great coaches out there in the world, the people who are speakers, that's what they say. It's hard work. It's hard work. Why? Because most people are not going to sit down and get away from everybody else and take the time to be quiet and learn all of this. Don't think that you have to go and pay out someone thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to acquire this. This knowledge is for free right here. But if Gina didn't point out this book, who would have known this? I mean, I like the book, The Science of Getting Rich. Very powerful book. But together with The Science of Getting Rich, with Stuart Wild's book, with Joseph Benner, and then I have one other book that we did. What was it? I don't know. I have them written down. I'm sorry. My memory is a little...
Napoleon?
Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich, and there's another one that we just went over. All these books point out to the same thing. Think and grow rich. Think and grow rich. Think and grow rich. What's the secret to success? It's in the book. You've got to find it. I mentioned it a few times. Think and grow rich. It's not grow rich and think. It's think and grow rich.
Yes, it's all mindset, David. And I was one other experiment, if I'm allowed to go through.
Yep.
I remember, I don't know, it was this book, maybe it was another book that talked about when our mind get all carried away, and we want to go into those same old thoughts that we're used to, because we have developed this character over the years, over our lifetime. And so when a negative thought comes into our mind, you can use these words like faith, health, success, or health, wealth, success. And let those words, you just keep repeating them when doubt or anything comes into your head. And, you want to feel discouraged or sad, you think health, wealth, success. And watch how your mindset shift. And I've been doing that experiment on myself lately, and I remember, say, a couple of weeks ago, and something grand was happening in my life, or anytime that something grand is happening in my life, and I feel so elated and so happy, and I realized those are just thoughts that, that I came up with in my head. I was happy because of the thought of such and such. And so I said, why can't I just keep those thoughts or repeat them again? Because those thoughts made me happy. Everything is just pretty much thought. So I tried that. When I was feeling discouraged, I decided I'm going to have the same thought that I had last week or a couple of days ago that made me feel happy. And I was happy. I was like, wow, this is some crazy stuff.
Yes.
So it's just a matter of changing our mindset and the thoughts that we have.
Definitely.
And focusing them accordingly, instead of just letting that go monkey mind again run away with us.
That's correct. That is correct.
Yeah.
It is correct.
Being decisive on what you want to think about.
You have to imagine yourself doing what you want to do, achieving what you want to achieve, receiving what you want. As some of you who are aware in the group that we belong to the $100 million run, I mean, I just posted my jet, the jet that I want, from the production line, right? And I know it's coming. And when it comes, everything comes very quickly. All right, whether you're ready or not, what you ask for will come, or something better will come. So you just got to keep applying it regularly. Okay, that's it. Whatever you want, invest in it. Let's say, there's a stock, invest in long term, even one share, invest in it, because that way you own it. You want your own, I don't know, let's say, for me, let's just pick a jets. I want a jet one day. So I got to invest in the airline stocks, right? That's a reality. What do you want? What do you want? Do you always want to be where you are right now? Or are you implementing a meditative state as all these wealthy people have done? Because some of these people, when you look at them, look at how Michael Jackson was talked about, that he was like a young kid, even in his 50s, 40s, 50s, right? That he would laugh and giggle, and he didn't mean any wrong by it, but everyone looks for something wrong, how to make money off of people that are wealthy. But the bottom line is they are all creative. They have used their brain to create their reality. When have you used it? When have I used it? When are we going to continue to use it? Right? And the bigger things require more use. So as Joseph Brenner says, be still.
Be still.
Be still. Take time out for you. Start out with 3 minutes a day if you're not used to it. Work your way up to 10 minutes. And if you can afford more time, take more time. Because those who have become very successful, even if they're as crazy and ballsy as Donald Trump is, it's because they have figured out the impersonal life, the I am. All right? Take the time out for you. Whatever it is you want to create, you've got to do it. I don't care who knows here a guru. It's not the guru. All right? And yes, you should invest in coaching. You should invest in experts. However, if you're not investing in yourself, then you're not going to get much further than spending your money.
And David, another thing I was thinking, I know I mentioned this before, the saying that says, you either go within or you go without.
Yes.
And that's very deep to me. I try to remember that on a daily basis, because if we don't spend that time, trying to figure out who we are, our purpose, why we're placed here on this earth, then we just keep wandering or drifting, like it was calling that book, Napoleon Hill.
Correct. So I want to leave you with this one task each so that we can end this call, because I know some of you, and I have another call I want to try and make as well. Sharon gets on that call as well. I don't know if anybody else here does, but use your calendar to your benefit. Set an alarm reminder to meditate if you're not used to it. Set an alarm reminder on a daily basis. Take 2 minutes, 3 minutes to meditate. You need a meditation guide? Talk to Gina, talk to me. I can forward you a video, but Gina is great and live, and I'm certain she knows where to point you in the right direction. So, I'm offering Gina's services, and I didn't even ask her. So.
Oh, that's okay. I have a quick 5-minute one that I can use as well. It was pretty cool, just on YouTube. So I'll be happy to share it there. I don't know if I did it before, but I'll share it.
Got it. Great. Thank you for that. So this is it for our review, and apply it. come tomorrow, you're going to have a new book that we're going to go over. If anyone of you has a recommendation, send it to me right away before I pick one. I'd like to pick a shorter one for this week, and then the following week, we'd like to pick a longer one, a bit longer. But these books are all listenable, are easy to comprehend. They're not rocket science. They don't have technical words. They're about you and me getting to that next level. So meditate on whatever it is that you want. I'm going to start. I'm going to post. I meditated. So if you meditate, please post in the chat. Let's see. I did 5 minutes so that people can come up. What did you do? And ask. So that way, then you respond what you did. And then do it again the next day. Please, let's keep each other accountable through that chat group. Meditate on what you want. I did 5 minutes. I did 10 minutes. Whatever it is. Do your own type of meditation. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right? That's what Joseph Brenner says. Benner says is that it does not have to be perfect. Just do meditation according to you. All right? So that's it. Everyone, have a great evening. Ariane, I'm going to contact you tomorrow. Let's set up a new appointment. We have to get working on that phase, as I said this week. So I don't want to jump off the wagon on that. And to everyone else, if you want to create your reality, how much more do you need to hear? Or do you just need to be held accountable? All right. Post in the chat when you do your meditations. 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes. Post in the chat and let other people ask you, what did you do 5 minutes? Just say, I did 5 minutes. And we know, the group that came to this class knows, and those that listen to the recording will know. All right. That is how you create your successful album, your successful movie, your successful book, your successful future. Take the time out to do it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. That's the reality. All right. Everyone, have a great evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very, very much. I'm indebted to you all for being here. And I really hope that you start to create your reality soon. Not next year, soon. All right. When is now a good time? That's the question you got to ask. When is now a good time? All right. Have a great evening. Talk to you next week. And let's use the chat group for our benefit and posting how we can take this to the next level. Bye. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.